Hello everybody. So this video is entitled Deals No More. I'm sad. What's going on? Even LifeMD is up 36, actually even more than that right now, plus 36%. SoFi started the day pretty good. It now retreated slightly below 14, but SoFi started really good too. And so I want to talk about these two stocks, nothing to do with each other. They're entirely different, but let's go. Let's talk about SoFi first. So SoFi Q1 earnings this morning. Folks, as you know, I'm not a SoFi YouTuber because Tanner, Data Driven Investing, they do an excellent coverage. There's a lot of excellent coverage on YouTube of SoFi and on X. So that's why I don't cover it on a regular basis. I don't do regular videos on SoFi, but I have a nice position on SoFi. In fact, it's a top 15 stock for me. I have a dual position between SoFi and Nubank, because I like both of them, and this represents the tension between the two. I never know which one to choose, because the valuation of these two is always so close, and I never know which one to choose. But I follow it from afar. And today I perused through the conference call, as I always do for any stock I own, and this is what I saw. They are re-entering the crypto and blockchain business more comprehensively. And so they're going to allow us to invest again in Bitcoin. And I really care about Bitcoin. That's why I have so much coverage of MicroStrategy on this channel. And so, no hard feelings. I'm still upset. I'm over it now, right? The whole certain states in the U.S. when they exited the crypto business back in I think it was 22, they forced us to sell depending on your state. You could transfer, you could not transfer. It's over now. I don't think they're going to have a lot of backlash about it, but I'm glad they're bringing back crypto, because how can you be the one-stop shop for Gen Z and for millennials if you do not have cryptocurrencies, if you don't have Bitcoin, if you don't have Solana, if you don't have stable coins? Like I always say, whenever you take an Uber or something, have a conversation with an Uber driver, right? Young kids, early 20s, they'll tell you, oh, no, I don't really do stocks, but I have crypto XYZ. If you want to be the one-stop shop for the millions of young people who are looking for their banking partner for their whole life, if you want to be that one-stop shop, you need to have crypto. You need to have the asset of the younger generation, of the new customer, and they're going to bring it back, which I'm very excited about. They do it all, and they're going to do it all more now with SoFi Invest, which includes crypto. I'm also impressed with their other offerings, the VC offering that they have with Cathie Wood, I think is very impressive. Every other quarter, I think about investing in the Cathie Wood VC fund, and the only way to do it is through SoFi. So that's also very special. What's more special, though, is the growth rate. The growth rate at SoFi is the most special. It went from 1 million to 10 million customers in a matter of 4 to 5 years, roughly. And they show you the timeline here. From 1 to 10 million, I mean, there's no matter how you put it, that's hypergrowth. When you grow your customer base so quickly, that is hypergrowth. They are taking customers from the traditional banks, and of course, we on this channel, I mean, in the investing community, people tend to praise Robinhood, but Robinhood is still mostly mostly investing. SoFi does many more things than just investing. The truth is, in the U.S. a lot of people invest, but not everybody is gonna just invest. A lot of people like to have savings account. A lot of people like to have protection, insurance, all of that sort of stuff. And SoFi has all of that, and so that's why they're doing well. Look at the numbers. So the members keep growing. Keep in mind, this is a little misleading, the Q1 here, because really they should compare quarter to quarter. It kind of looks like the growth abated, but no, it did not abate. This is just showing a quarter edition worth of members, if that makes sense. The members are still growing at a growth rate, at between 30 and 40% right now is what we're growing at. Same for the products, between 30 and 40%. And the revenues, so what I'm going to use for the full year 25, I'm going to say they're going to grow revenue at 30% in my spreadsheet. EBITDA is growing nicely, and I didn't calculate, but we're clearly having some operating margin in the EBITDA here. I mean, just looking at the chart, you see the operating margin. They're growing EBITDA faster than revenue now, which means that Wall Street is going to start paying attention. especially as they have adjusted net income. As you know, on this channel, I don't even look at net income. This is accounting. This is to pay your taxes, right? I look at EBITDA. That's the cash flow. That's the proxy for cash flow. That's what I look at on this channel. That's what I love. And this stock talks to me because they promote the EBITDA. They talk about their EBITDA. They want to have a 30% EBITDA going forward, right? In the future, they hope to have 30% EBITDA. So this is an ideal candidate for the BTD valuation. I love how it changed the reporting of the metrics. For the longest time, I was wary about putting banks in my spreadsheet because of the metrics being reported being entirely different. Now, I've been able, with AI and with, of course, the SoFi, the good reports, I've been able to put them in my spreadsheet. So I have this world that I call neobanks, and Hood really shouldn't be in there, but I don't really have a special category for broker traders, so I don't have any of that, so I put Hood in there. But this is the valuation. So what is the valuation of SoFi? Well, SoFi is a 0.22 on my spreadsheet. Enterprise value over gross profit or revenue growth is a 0.22. That is very cheap. Not the cheapest, right? HIMS is still at a 0.08, but it's still quite cheap and really nice. And the growth rate that I've put in there, 30% growth rate for revenue, I've put it in there because I've seen this movie over before. It's Q1, okay, so they raised the guidance, and then every quarter they're gonna raise the guidance by 1%, and then at the end of 2025 you'll have 30% growth rate. And so since I'm trying to compare, I'm trying to be as close to the truth as possible. I'm using 30% growth rate because I'm just assuming that they're sandbagging, because there's really no upside to giving your true estimate to the market. There's always upside to sandbagging. I think they are sandbagging. They're underestimating their growth so that they can surprise. They are setting themselves up for success. 13.33 at the moment. 34 at the moment. I did the screenshot here. So still cheap. The market is not reacting too well to the earnings, which is surprising to me. But I find this stock cheap, and whenever I add to the sector, I consider SoFi. I updated the numbers for Nubank and for Robinhood. If you want to take a look at that, and so you can see that Nubank actually on my spreadsheet is slightly cheaper than SoFi, barely though. And Robinhood is of course the expensive stock out of the bunch, but it's understandable because it's becoming clearer and clearer that in the brokers war, Robinhood is winning. And to me, it's clearer and clearer that Robinhood is going to win as I become more familiar with the Robinhood platform. And I've fully embraced and adopted Robinhood, and I think they are the best platform right now. Anyways, this is not a Robinhood video. Let's talk about done with the SoFi. Let's talk about an entirely different topic. Let's talk about LifeMD. The LifeMD news. So there's two pieces of news of LifeMD, one from yesterday, one from today. Let's talk about the news from yesterday. As you know, I consider LifeMD to be a baby HIMS. A cheaper HIMS, right? Because LifeMD is trading at, I guess, a 0.05 on the spreadsheet. Now, I didn't do a screenshot of the spreadsheet. You can see it on the Patreon. The point is, what did they do? They bought Optimal Human Health MD. And my guess is that they are getting ready to launch a Harris copycat. So, what is Optimal Health MD? Well, it's related to menopause, right? It's one of the leading issues after women get menopause is osteoporosis. That's one of the things that Optimal Human Health MD is trying to deal with. And you can see this is very aligned with LifeMD because the Osteo Collective and their program, it's $31 a month. And of course, LifeMD sells monthly subscriptions, right? HIMS and LifeMD are both Netflixes. I mean, you could say one of them is the big Netflix and LifeMD is the mini Netflix. I think LifeMD looks more like a Netflix of doctors than HIMS, but a lot of people also take that comparison for HIMS and say HIMS is a LifeMD of doctors. HIMS is more like a subscription to a specific program. LifeMD is more a prescription to a holistic program where you can have, doctor visits for a monthly fee and you can go back and see the doctor. Anyways, the point is the businesses are very similar. But it's $31 a month, billed monthly to talk about bone health and bone loss and osteoporosis, and of course that's what we see here is the customer centricity, right? LifeMD, just like HIMS, is trying to be a customer-centric brand in healthcare. This is about making the customer feel good, the patient feel good. And how do you make the patient feel good? Well, you use great marketing. Stop bone loss, build bone, live without the fear of fracture. Our program for Osteo Collective, right? Dr. Dog, right? You don't use you don't use the last name, right? Dr. Dog. His last name is Lucas. His name is Dr. Lucas, but you're using Dr. Dog because you're being a customer-centric company, and that helps sales. That helps patient adherence. That's part of the major revolution of healthcare that is happening right now. And of course, they also announced that they are partnering with Novo at the same time as HIMSS, same day as HIMSS, and they're going to offer Novo on their platform, knowing that the GLP-1 strategy of LifeMD is actually a little bit different from HIMSS, right? HIMSS is only cash pay. LifeMD will try to help you get your pharmacy benefits. But now the customers that can't use their pharmacy benefits for paying for GLP-1s, well, of which I'm gonna tell you is probably a lot of customers. Like pharmacy benefit managers are probably rushing to not cover GLPs. So a lot of customers, even though I know LifeMD has made a big deal of trying to find insurance money for people who need these weight loss drugs, they've made a big deal about this on the calls before. But my guess is that it's really not going that way, and insurance is really not taking the path of reimbursing these drugs. So they needed a cash pay solution. And their cash pay solution, of course, is the partnership with Novo, just like HIMSS. And so this is going to be amazing, right? This is the pie is growing in the telehealth sector, and I consider LifeMD Ro's not public, but if it were, I would put Ro in there. Ro, LifeMD, HIMSS, they are the disruptors of healthcare at large, and they are taking the cash cow business from traditional institutions, and they're going cash pay. And by going cash pay, you collapse the cost by 10x, and you make the customer experience so much better because you don't have to deal with insurance, you don't have to deal with uncertainty of payment. I've covered this so many times on the channel. I'm very happy about LifeMD. I'm very happy about SoFi. SoFi is still cheap. LifeMD, unfortunately, plus 36%. I'm going to have to reassess the valuation of both LifeMD and HIMSS, so that sucks. That's too bad. But anyways, this was not investment advice, not financial advice, only entertainment. Hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.